As a solopreneur to small team business that's ready to grow, you're probably going to start thinking about hiring someone to help you with marketing, social media marketing, maybe your emails. And you're going to do this because you're ready to grow. Well, let me tell you, there are a ton of pitfalls in this area, and I'm going to walk you through them. But not only am I going to talk about the pitfalls to help you avoid them, I'm going to give you a one-shot solution that is going to kind of keep you make sure that your investment in your marketing team is worth it. All right. I'm Celina Guerrero. I'm here today on the Thrive Biz Chat, where we talk about what it really takes to run a thriving service business. I'm also the creator of the Thrive Sales Accelerator, where I help service-based businesses get to their next level of growth by implementing marketing and sales strategies and systems. I am going to get right to it. I want to tell you first that I had put a poll a couple days ago about what's the actual question was, how happy have you been with the results of freelance marketing assistants that you've hired? And the options were very happy, somewhat happy, and then extremely happy. And it was a resounding 100% a response rate on the somewhat happy. So no one's like that upset about it, but no one's actually seems to be that satisfied. I think it's easy in some ways to say, okay, well, if I'm on social media, like if everyone's on social media, how hard could it be to hire someone to fill this role, right? It seems kind of like the easy first step of all of the things that you might hire for. You might hire a virtual assistant or a personal assistant or something like that. But the marketing, because it can take a lot of technical, tactical sort of steps around it, it just kind of seems like the easy hire. But based on that poll, basically no one's really thrilled. And I'm not excited about that result, but I think it's indicative of why I'm having this conversation to begin with. I did also in the poll get some responses that people were really having a hard time finding someone, that even though all these people are out there were saying that they were marketing assistants or, virtual assistants or social media managers, that the response rate was pretty low. I think it really speaks to this idea that, everyone kind of does it. And so it seems like it should be easy, but it's not. All right. So if you're out there, please, share with me in the chat, where you're dialing in from. Let me know if you have any questions, of course. I'm going to just kind of get into it. Pitfall number one. Okay, here we go. Pitfall number one when trying to hire somebody to assist you with marketing that you might have been doing all by yourself up to this point, right? So pitfall number one is you hire a very experienced marketing person, right? Maybe you can afford that. You're ready to make that investment. And let me tell you, I have been there before. I thought, okay, I'm ready. Here I am, my business. I'm ready to hire somebody who really knows marketing strategy. And what can end up happening in this situation is that this person is really knowledgeable, but they just want to run strategy. They just want to run strategy. They don't actually want to do the actual tactical work of posting and creating graphics and, writing copy. And I've heard this from other clients who've had a similar situation. And so what ends up happening is if you want to hire somebody who actually knows strategy, you've got to hire a second person who's actually going to do the work, right? So you've got now you've got like a pretty expensive person who's very knowledgeable, but then there's this secondary person, or frankly, like they just don't seem to deliver on what you think that they're going to deliver. The other thing is they're just used to leading a team. And so even if they say they're going to actually be able to do that work for you, right? Maybe they have a full-time job. Maybe they have a lot of different clients and they're saying yes, yes, yes. But when it comes down to it, they're used to leading a team. They're not actually used to doing the day-to-day account-driven activity. Okay. So pitfall one is, somebody who actually is a real professional, who's very knowledgeable and so on. Okay. And if you have the money to do that, that's one option, but you've got to be really careful that they're prepared to do the actual tactical work, because now you can't afford to hire somebody, a secondary person to do the admin. All right. So then the second pitfall is you hire someone who's really inexperienced. Okay. And I've done this as well. So basically you're going out to, these, job boards and you're saying, okay, let's, how hard could it be, right? How hard could it possibly be to run social media for my business or, queue up emails, even if you're writing them, right? And I think what often happens here is that they're capable of doing the day-to-day technical work, but they really don't understand your voice. They really don't understand your brand. They don't necessarily even have the strategy running a business account, especially if you're in B2B. Okay. So, if you've got some young person out of college who is saying, just had this marketing degree and is probably doing all this stuff on social media, and you bring them in, you really do run the risk of them not fully really just having enough business experience to understand what you're trying, who you are and what you're, who you're speaking to, who is your audience. And and this has happened to me before, where you just kind of get an immature branding in the content that they're sharing. Okay. Just because you're getting someone who's that inexperienced in the business world. And the other thing is they may not know tactically, like strategically or tactically, how to get the conversions, right? There's a difference between kind of just knowing sort of how to do reels or how to, queue up an email, but like, what do we actually need to be doing to get the conversion that we want, right? And so I think, this is sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. And I think this is really a very real issue for a lot of people. So the third pitfall is really the mindset of outsourcing this function, right? You're so busy, you've decided to invest in a marketing person. And so you're like, okay, great. Let me go find somebody because I don't have time anymore, right? I need to continue with visibility in my business, but I need to hire somebody to do it for me. And so you outsource, right? You just outsource the function entirely. And this is I think this is a big issue too, right? Kind of maybe goes along with that. If you're hiring somebody who's inexperienced and you say, okay, go do it, and you trust them and they don't actually know how to execute that, it's a similar thing. So what ends up happening is you are not giving them the information about your business, right? You're not giving them enough understanding of who your brand. I mean, you might not even be a marketer, right? Like that's not your full-time job. You could be, a trainer or a event planner or any, it could be you could be a photographer, you could be a yoga instructor, like you could be doing anything that doesn't have to do with marketing. And so what ends up happening is you're like, oh, thank God, somebody who knows what they're doing. And that's a big problem because unless you can really hire a full-time agency and they can ask you the questions that they need in order to be successful, you're probably going to run into some issues there. The other thing is if you don't have metrics to hold them accountable, they're just off doing whatever they're doing and you really have no idea if what they're doing is actually moving the needle, right? I mean, I think there's a difference between just sort of like being visible, right? And really using marketing in the way that it should be used, which is basically to generate leads, right? To have a call to action to continue. I mean, you want to build visibility, you want to build relationships, but you also want to get people's emails and you want to get them into your world to connect with you, right? And that function, if there's no metrics or any kind of detail around what actually they're doing to accomplish that, it's not an investment that works. So I like to say, you can hire everybody, but you still, right, you are still the leader of the business. You wear the revenue crown is the term that I use. And so even if I'm not suggesting that as an owner, you run marketing, right? That's not how your time is best spent, but you've got to have a way of knowing if this person is working out or not. And a lot of times you end up 2 to 3 months in and you're like, what's happening here? Where's all this money going? Right. So those are the 3 pitfalls. Okay. Number 1, you hire someone so experienced that they're focused on strategy and they're wondering where their team is. And number 2 is you're hiring someone so experienced that they just don't quite understand who your customer is and what are the sort of technical things that they really need to be doing from a business perspective to get those conversions. And then the third pitfall is just sort of outsourcing and just saying, please go figure this out, and having trust that someone actually understands how to do that, right? Again, if you're not a marketer, you don't necessarily know, what do I need to know? What kind of criteria should I be setting, not only for the hire, but what is the criteria also in terms of the work itself? Okay. All right. So what is the solution? The solution is very simple. The solution is maybe not that easy, but it's definitely simple. And that is that you need to create a marketing strategy and system for your business. Okay. First of all, right, you're creating a plan that lives and is baked inside your business. Okay. It's baked inside your business, something that you own. It is an asset to your business. So let's just say you ever sell your business, it is built into your business. Okay. And even though you're a small business, you can still do this. This is what big businesses do. They're not like outsourcing everything to agencies, right? They have some baked in understanding of who they're selling to and how they're selling to them, right? So you as an owner need to create a marketing strategy and system for your business, which becomes a foundational asset to your business. And then, like big businesses do, you hire someone to plug and play into that system. Okay. Even if like you're a giant company, you're hiring an agency, they're still plugging and playing into your existing marketing and sales system and the strategies that you've been employing. Okay. Now, once you have that system, what does that look like? It looks like a very specific cadence on where you're showing up, right? Email, social media, blogs, videos. Okay. It's a very specific campaigns that you might run on a quarterly basis, right? There's a very specific messaging that is really critical to your business, right? That is foundational. That is the basics of who you serve, how you help them overcome the challenges that they have. Okay. And so when you create that system for yourself and your business, you, the owner, have a chance to really own that. Not in a day-to-day activity, not in terms of day-to-day activity, but in terms of really manifesting who you are and who you want to sell to and how you're going to do that. And when you have that baked in, you can then hire somebody who is somewhat knowledgeable around marketing, right? Maybe they're not like the really expensive strategy person, but maybe they're not like, don't know anything about marketing. They just think it's kind of a fun being a social media manager kind of situation, which I'm here to tell you that happens a lot. But it's somebody that can, learn how to learn the systems that you've already employed, right? And I think just giving them that system, they can plug and play. And guess what happens? They might have ideas. They might have great ideas, and they might add to your strategy. They might come to you with ideas, right? So that you're not going to just say like, this is what you have to do and you're a robot. They obviously you want them to contribute. Okay. But this idea is that you want them to come into a system, and guess what? They're going to be held accountable for some metrics and some reporting, which you already have set up. Okay. And then also, lastly, if they leave, right? If they leave, because a lot of times if you get these part-time people, maybe they're just waiting for the full-time job to come in, and then they go get the full-time job and you're left with nothing, right? If you just tell somebody go do it, then they are running their systems under their accounts even. And I've seen that before too, right? They're not even running it under your proper accounts. And then they leave, and then you're left with nothing. So this case, if they leave, you're like, okay, just like an employee, even though they're technically not a full-time employee, you're going to hire someone else to fit into that system, the marketing and sales system that you've created, that is a foundational asset to your business, that is built with you as the owner at the forefront of the sort of in terms of the thought leadership, in terms of the approach, in terms of the messaging. Okay. So if you are able to make a list of all the accounts that you have, right? Make a list of all of the different channels that you use, right? And decide when you're sending out messaging along those channels, right? 2 times social media, weekly email, weekly video, right? Whatever that looks like. You have your set lead magnets, whether that's live events on a quarterly basis, a lead magnet that is always available. And you set that up, then some metrics around all of those channels activity, then you can hire somebody. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. I see this all the time. I applaud you for wanting to delegate and to outsource that information, right, to somebody else. And that is alone is going to be a learning process. But these are some of the pitfalls that you might encounter. And so the way to avoid that is to create your own marketing and sales system. Now, if you want some help with that, please reach out to me. You can message me. You can check out thrivesalesaccelerator.com. I'll put that in the comments. And that's where I help people really create those marketing and sales systems and strategies baked into your business. So then either you can do that work or you can outsource it. Okay. So I am going to put that in the chat. I also wanted to put in a little note about a download that I have, which is Lead Gen 5. It's 5 ways to generate leads. It'll give you some structure, some ideas around how you might be able to be generating clients. Hey, Stacy, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Yes, you need to create the system and then hire for the system. Awesome. Thank you for being here. All right. I am so happy to have you here listening. I don't take that for granted. I am available anytime you want to reach out to me, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, for the next week's Thrive Biz Chat. Have a great day. Bye.